Hi class, today you're going to learn about comparing numbers up to millions. Alright, as we begin, we are going to review the place value chart. So when the decimal is right here, the one next to it is the ones, the one next to that is the tens, and the hundreds. Then we have the thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. Then we have the millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. Okay, those are very important to know. This is the ones period. This is the thousands period. And this is the millions period. As we go on, you might want to look back at this screen to remember what the place values are. Or as you do your assignment today, this might help you. Here we go. All right, class, we are going to start talking about this by talking about the comparing marks or the comparing signs. When we do this, if we have a sign that looks like this with a little point on it, like this, that means this side is less and this side is more. If we would flip it around, then we would have this side be less. Wherever the point is, that means that side is less. So let's look at this first set of numbers right here. If we look, we always look at the front side. So we will start by looking at the first numbers over here. We have 12 and 13. Okay? We for sure know that 13 is more than 12, so we would put the open end by the 13. All right? Now let's look at the next one. The next one is harder because in this one, in this one, there are 7 digits, and in this one, there are 8. That makes a difference. That means one is bigger than the other. So we can know that there are 8 digits, so the 8-digit one is going to be bigger or greater than the 7-digit one, even though it's tricky because this says 45 and this says 43. We have to be careful so that if they're not the same amount of digits, the bigger amount of digits gets it. Okay, so here's one rule. Count how many digits are in both numbers. If they are the same, start comparing by looking at the front numbers one at a time. This is how that would look. I am going to start by counting to make sure they all have the same amount. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this one. So they all have the same numbers. So now we're going to compare by looking at the front. The front means this first row. So I have a 1, and a 2. If I have a 2, that means this number is the greatest because 24,132,690 is greater than 17 million, and the other two are both 17 million. So now we're going to start comparing those two. I'm going to get a different color. Now we're going to start at the front again. So we have a 1 and a 1. That's not going to help me any. So I'll cross those off. I have a 7 and a 7. Well, I still can't tell which is bigger. So now I have a 4 and a 5. Now I can tell which one is bigger. Which one is it? Of course, it's the one with the 5. 17,559,406 is greater than 17,459,406. So it would go 1 greatest, 2 greatest, 3 greatest. This one is the least, and this one would be the middle. Okay? That's how you would do it if they are all the same. You just keep going over till you decide you can compare the two numbers. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. Please figure this out in your notebook and be prepared to show Mrs. Harris when you're done. All right, you can pause it if you need more time. Now I'm going to go through the answer with you. So we will start by knowing they are all the same. They all have 6 digits in them. So we're going to start by comparing this section. I have a 3, a 2, and a 3. Well, since I have 2, 234, 890 is going to be my least. So I'm going to cross that one off and put an L there, because that's my smallest. So next I can compare the next number. I'm done with the 3's. So now let's see, I got a 5 and a 5. That will not help any. Now I got a 7 and an 8. That will help. So now I know that the one 176 is less than 358,789. So this will be the greatest and this will be the middle. Okay, here's another rule we need to know. If they have a different amount of digits, you line the place values up starting with the ones place. Let's try this. Here is my number, 4,623. Now I'm going to line that up with this number right there. And then this one right there and this one right here. And if we look carefully, we'll know this is the ones place. So that side is the one that is all lined up. The rest of them are not lined up. The other side has different points of start, and that's okay because that makes it fair. Now we can look and decide which ones are, let's go with it, which is the smallest. So if I look at this, I should be able to tell right away that 4,623 is the smallest or the least out of those. So next, I should be able to tell by looking that this has so many less digits, 87,953 would be second least. So we'll call this one 1 and that one 2. Then now is where the trouble starts. Now we have to decide, because these are both 2 million, so that 2's not going to help. Now we have a 6 and a 7. Well, I'm looking at the least, so I think this one will be third, because that is third least, and this one will be fourth, because that is the most. So the most important thing is that you have to line up the place values starting with the ones place. It is important to know that when they are lined up side by side, you might need to line them up and down, especially as in the case with this first set, because they are so close together. However, I can tell by looking at them, since they both have 5 digits, I can say, okay, the first one is a 2, second one is a 3. Oh, so now I have a 7 and 8. So I can say the 8 is bigger, so it's going to get the open end like that. The next one, I can see how many digits they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. then I automatically know, and by knowing that this is the millions part and this ends in the hundred thousands part, that 1,278,900 is the greater number. If you need any help on your assignment, go ahead and watch this again to see if it can help you. Have fun.